How's it going, Giants fans? My name is Alex with my co-host here, Anthony Rivardo, and today we're going to discuss the unfortunate reality that both Thibodeaux and Ojulari are likely not going to play tomorrow, and that's kind of what we expected going into this game. You know, they've been kind of participating in individual drills, and I don't think that necessarily is enough. It doesn't constitute as enough to really suit up and play Week 1 against the Tennessee Titans here. And, you know, a really, really tough Tennessee Titans team with Derrick Henry as the leading guy, and then you have Ryan Tannehill, of course, at quarterback. Some decent receivers with, they got Robert Woods now and Treylon Burks, who they drafted after trading A.J. Brown to the Eagles. So this definitely is a team that, in my opinion, is beatable, but I don't know if the Giants have the healthy guys to get it done. You know, they are going to have a tough time on defense without Ojulari and Thibodeaux. They did call up Tony Jefferson, and we'll discuss him, and they also called up Quincy Roche to help out Jaheed Ward, and, of course, O'Shane Ximenez. So they're a little thin outside linebacker. The pass rush is going to be a little weak. There's not that many rotational guys back there. You're looking at Roche to kind of pick up the slack, and he, of course, didn't make the roster. He ended up on the practice squad. So what should we expect from him? Not very much, to be quite honest with you. Losing Ojulari and Thibodeaux for this game definitely is significant, but I'd rather them be 100% healthy down the stretch in the rest of the season than, just re-aggravate something and then maybe miss a couple more weeks. So I think this is the right decision by the Giants. But Anthony, before we dive into kind of what to expect from this defense, what to expect from some of these guys, how you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing great. One more sleep and we get New York Giants football. So I'm super excited. I'm very happy. I can't wait for tomorrow. It's going to be a lot of fun. I know, of course, we're going to be doing pregame live stream, postgame recap, all that stuff right here on Fireside Giants. And I'm super excited for that. I love the live stream, just sitting down, chatting with the fans and discussing, how we think the game's going to go, giving score predictions, all that stuff. I love the live streams and I love football and I love Giants football, and I'm so happy that it's back. But of course, I am a little disappointed that some of our premier players won't be suiting up tomorrow, most likely, right? Kayvon Thibodeaux likely missing his week 1 debut as a rookie, which is super unfortunate. But I agree with you, Alex. I think it's best that the Giants just let Thibodeaux and Ojulari rest up a little bit, get them fully healthy for week 2 or 3, right? It's a long season, 17 games. Of course, you want your best 53 on the roster at all times, but if every now and then you got to call up some guys from the practice squad and leave some players on the bench, you just got to do it, man. And I think, the Giants are pretty banged up right now. They've got a lot of key injuries at multiple positions, but honestly, it could be worse. When you look at the offensive side of the ball, getting Sterling Shepard back is a huge boost for the Giants, and they are mostly healthy on the offensive line now. It's really just the left guard spot. John Feliciano's healthy. Everyone seems pretty healthy. So I don't know. I'm kind of in high spirits with the offense, but it is the defensive side of the ball where I'm seeing a major lack of depth and a couple of crucial injuries. But I do think that Quincy Roche and Tony Jefferson will be adequate elevations to the regular season roster, and I'm excited to see what they can provide to the Giants on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, look, you're talking about backups here. Jaheed Ward obviously spent the last season with Baltimore. He spent 2019 with the Indianapolis Colts and Baltimore. But last year he made 10 appearances. Last year he was with Jacksonville, and the year before that he was at Baltimore. So last year he spent 17 games actually playing. He started in 1, recorded 32 combined tackles, 22 assists, 7 QB hits, and 2 sacks. But, he brings a lot of energy. That's the kind of word that I've been hearing about him at training camp, him in the preseason. He just is an energy bunny, the energizer guy. Kind of what we lost in Jabril Peppers. That's somebody that brought that gusto, that zest to the unit and kind of motivated everybody around them. And I think that Ward is someone that does deliver that value at the very least. He's a veteran, has experience, has a career 10 sacks, so not that many, over, I guess, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seasons. And then, of course, on the other side of him, you have O'Shane Ximenez, 6'4", 245 pounds, former 3rd-round pick from 2019. He had a really good rookie season, 4.5 sacks, 25 combined tackles, 9 QB hits, 5 tackles for loss, played in 16 games, started in 2, but then the last 2 years has kind of fallen off. He was injured in 2020. I think it was a shoulder issue. Last year, he played in 10 games, had 13 combined tackles and no sacks. He was rather inconsistent and did not produce much on the defensive side for the Giants. But, Tony Jefferson's a guy coming from Baltimore. He knows Wink Martindale's system pretty simply, and he'll walk right in and know the whole thing and the whole strategy and scheme, what they're trying to accomplish here. So I trust that, having a nice reserve safety will definitely support the Giants, especially if Dane Belton is not going to suit up for week 1. He had the broken clavicle, but he's expected to return pretty soon. We'll see if he makes that comeback. But I do agree with you on the offensive side. Getting Sterling Shepard back is a big one for this team. He obviously is a trusted receiver for Daniel Jones, a guy that he has a lot of chemistry with. Very good in the short to intermediate yardage range. He's a good red zone threat. He always tends to kind of come up big in the red zone when the Giants get there. At the very least, they obviously struggled last year, ranking dead last with a 44% touchdown rate, which is the worst in the NFL. Hopefully, Mike Kafka and Brian Dable can elevate them and maybe look a little bit like the Bills that did on Thursday night. They had a lot of success. Of course, Josh Allen had a couple turnovers, but ultimately was pretty dominant nonetheless. But I'll ask you this, Anthony, where does the pressure come from? Since the pass rush is rather thin, we're talking about Ocean Exhibitors and Jihad Ward here. I don't exactly know where they're going to generate a lot of this. It's going to probably have to come from Leonard Williams. It's going to have to come from some unique blitzes. That Wink Martindale loves to do that. So maybe some safeties from Xavier McKinney, maybe some safeties from Julian Love, maybe some slot corner safeties from Darnay. Micah McFadden has had success blitzing with Indiana at the collegiate level as a rookie this year. Maybe he'll be able to impact the game in some way. Then you have Austin Cleacho, who did actually have a little bit of success in his career when he did play rushing the passer as well. So, where do you think this pressure's got to come from? They got a weakness at right tackle with Daniel Pierre, I think, for Ferre Pierre. I don't want to say his last name, but he's up from Ohio State, rookie from Ohio State. He's definitely a weakness there. How do we actually go out and take advantage of him at that right tackle spot?
Well, I think the best way to do it, you kind of spoiled the surprise. I was going to give my analysis, and you mentioned all the things that you think could happen. So you took my analysis's charm just a little bit away. But Micah McFadden was a name that you mentioned that I was planning on mentioning because I think that he can be an X factor in the Giants defense. He's a young rookie linebacker that the Giants took late in the round because he was a perfect scheme fit. They took him to play in Wink Martindale's defense. This had to be Wink Martindale telling Joe Schoen, like, dude, I need this guy. Because when you watch him play and you look at the defenses that he played in, he is a perfect fit for the Wink Martindale scheme. And I think when you look at what Wink Martindale used to do over in Baltimore, a lot of creative blitz packages, like you mentioned, right? You're going to see Micah McFadden on the field blitzing heavily. Now, usually off-ball linebackers, their primary job is to get involved in the run stopping portion of the game. But with Micah McFadden, his primary job might be as a pass rusher. And the way that would work out, right? So basically, I think they would have him go through the A-gap, which would then cause Leonard Williams to shift over, and he can take advantage of a weak right tackle. Or Dexter Lawrence. Get those big hog mollies. And though we don't like that term anymore because Dave Gettleman's gone, but those big defensive linemen, in the trenches, just shift them over, play that 5-tech, and get them on the shoulder of the offensive tackle. And I think that's where Leonard Williams and Dexter Lawrence need to step up to play. I think it's going to be a lot of stunts. You're going to see interior defensive linemen switch around, right? You can have Quincy Roche line up on the edge and then have a stunt where he twists inside, and you have Leonard Williams on that weak right tackle position. So stunts, creative blitz packages. Those are the ways that the Giants are going to create some pressure. Of course, like you mentioned, Kayvon Thibodeaux, Thibodeaux, Ojulari, likely not there. So you don't really have those edge rushers that can go 1-for-1 and just beat an offensive tackle snap after snap. But what you do have, again, is a really great defensive mind in Wink Martindale. And again, I think you're going to see a lot of stunts and a lot of twists on the defensive line. I think that's really the crucial way that the Giants will generate pressure. But of course, that takes some veteran experienced players. So I think that was the smart move. Bring up Quincy Roche. He had a whole season under his belt with the Giants last year. I know he's still a young guy, but he's got experience playing in the regular season. He made 3 starts last year. He played in 13 total games. So he's got some decent experience, and he could run some stunts. He could run some twists with Leonard Williams. They've got that chemistry. He and Dexter Lawrence have played alongside each other. There's some chemistry there as well. So I think really the main factors to creating pressure, generating pressure on Ryan Tannehill, it comes from Micah McFadden, those young guys that Wink Martindale is definitely going to utilize as blitzers. But it really comes down to how Wink Martindale uses his defensive line and what stunts and blitz packages up front he's able to create to get matchup advantages. That's the main thing for me. It's not just about catching the offense by surprise and having Xavier McKinney fly through into the backfield and get a sack. Like that flashy kind of blitz package stuff, that's great. And that'll work at times for sure. But the main thing is the down-to-down, how to utilize these players to gain matchup advantages. And again, the number one thing that I'm thinking of, you get Leonard Williams out on the edge on some twists, on some stunts, and then you get these outside linebackers to come up through the A-gap. And I think that is the best way to generate Ryan Tannehill's pressure. And I think that Leonard Williams should be in store for a big day because I think his usage is going to be very high on the edge. You're going to see him attack that weak right tackle position and hopefully get himself a couple of sacks to start off the season.
Well, that is what we hope to see, obviously. And, Joe Schoen from the Giants here has been going around town trying to evaluate all these college games, a little bit separate from tomorrow's contest as, we kind of broke down exactly what's going on with the pass rush. Joe Sheen actually is now going to the Kentucky-Florida game. I think he was at the Bama game earlier today against Texas, and now he's going to see Florida with Anthony Richardson and Will Levi of Kentucky. So 2 quarterbacks, big-time quarterback prospects. I know this is going to get everyone freaking out, and everybody obviously is like, oh, Daniel Jones, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, this is due diligence, guys. Every team does this, even ones that have great quarterbacks. They go and check them out. It's just part of their process. So I wouldn't look too much into it, but definitely a really good quarterback matchup, and I'm definitely excited to kind of see what's happening. So it should be fun. This is going to be an interesting couple of weeks as the college football season gets underway and really gets going here. And then, of course, week 1 tomorrow for the entire NFL. Really excited about that. And tomorrow we'll be doing a pregame show beforehand. About 30 minutes before the game, we'll hop on and do a little breakdown. Any news obviously coming out, we'll take a look at the starting offensive line, kind of what our thoughts are there. Obviously, take questions and thoughts from you guys as always. So hopefully you guys have a fantastic rest of your day before big football Sunday. I'm going to be watching that freaking Sunday ticket all day long. Red Zone package is the best. I freaking love Red Zone. It's easily the best thing that they've ever done. Just watching that all day long. I don't want to watch all the games. I want to watch them in the Red Zone. I want to watch some freaking points in my fantasy team score. But hopefully they don't lose. So guys, hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow on the live stream. Make sure to like and subscribe as always. We'll catch you guys on the next Fireside Giants episode.